Welcome back to another episode of This Is Great with Steve and Nate. That was our fancy new disc member commercial that Reeser worked up for us. Hope you guys liked it. Why don't we just go ahead and talk about that right now? This member ships out in 2 days. So you still have 2 days to get in on this month's disc member pack. Steve, what is disc member and what are they getting this month?
This month for the June disc golf, you're getting a Lucid Getaway with a stamp. It's not actually foil, but we took the heat press, got down on there. It's super cool. You're going to get one of these sweet minis. We've got a couple different colors for you.
Which, these are our new disc golf minis. And Mini Mania is going on right now, so all minis on the website are 99 cents, including these new ones. We've got complaints about our minis before being too tall, the little flyers that we have for Ultimate. So these are smaller, more typical disc golf shapes. So these are new on the website now. Go check them out. And you're getting one in your June disc member pack.
You're also going to get one of our Silly Pints. These are the silicone cups. They're super awesome. Squeeze them, throw them in your pocket, preferably without liquid in it. But then
if you do knock it over with liquid in it, it doesn't break.
Yeah. Then you're also going to be getting a sweet dynamic disc stick.
And there's a whole bunch of different ones of those, so you don't know what you're getting yet. Ultimate. What's in the Ultimate pack?
Ultimate is the AUDL stamped Ultra Star.
Super Color Center.
Super Color Center. You're also getting a AUDL Mini, and there was one more thing that goes with that.
Jersey Mini.
Jersey.
Oh,
it's a jersey.
You forgot the jersey?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're getting a sweet AUDL jersey, totally repping that league. It's good, super sweet disc, sweet shirt. And then,
check out
as
all the
always,
AUDL coverage. Those games are going on right now. There's lots of different platforms that have access to it. Those are great. Like Steve was about to say, you also, on both subscriptions, get a free subscription to UDisc Pro. UDisc has been a sponsor of this show from day one, so we really appreciate those guys. All the distances that you see in the videos later are brought to you through the UDisc app. They hook us up with free accounts so that we can do that for the show. And every disc member gets a free pro account. Has lots of cool features. Check it out if you haven't yet. And if you're not a disc member, become one. Or UDisc is just $5 a year, so check that out. All right, so I think this is, what episode number is this? 53? 52. Episode 52. So a year's worth of This Is Great with Steve and Nate. All right. We have the Axiom Excite this week. This is one of the new releases from Axiom. They are a sister company of MVP with the overmolds. Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Excite?
Sure thing. We've got a speed of 14, glide of 6, high-speed turn of -3, and a fade of 1. The Excite fills the straight to understable role of Axiom's 24.5 millimeter class of distance drivers. The Excite is able to achieve long, accurate distance with ease from its high amount of glide and ability to hyzer flip straight with a lower power requirement. Power throwers will be able to send this max speed driver on huge turnover lines with a late ending fade or attack the course with high speed rollers. Excite your game with the new maximum distance driver from Axiom, the Neutron Excite.
So this guy does, as you can see in that beautiful hand modeling footage Reeser is doing for you there, this thing is super sharp edge and it's got a huge rim. Like, my hands are barely big enough to handle this guy. So this isn't for your women and children or your slower arm players, or if you don't have very big hands, probably not the driver for you. It is fast. That one's a little domier than this one is, so it's probably going to be a little more stable, but might have a little more glide. The forehand grip feels good in general because the wider rim doesn't affect that as much. But yeah, so those kind of numbers, Steve, what does that sound like to you? Anything that comes? So by the numbers, it's flippier than the Tantrum that we did a little bit ago.
Yes.
So what does that kind of compare to for you?
That flippy, I would almost say if you took a fade off of a G-Star Shrike, where it just feels, the G-Star just really makes it turn a little bit more than a regular -2.
I'd say it's getting kind of close to the Latitude 64 Ballista or the Knight. Those both have, those numbers say they're -1.3. I think they're closer to the -3.2. They both flip up really nice, super fast, and fade, or it's going to be really close to a Westside Destiny, which is somewhat similar to like a Daedalus from Innova. So super fast, slightly understable drivers, but with drivers that are that fast, you really got to rip it to get that flip out of it. But yeah, so let's see how this guy flew. As always, we give away a bunch of stuff on the show, so start guessing your farthest distance. Backhand is going to be the one. Guess Steve or Nate in a distance. Also, just comment other stuff, ask us questions, leave funny comments. Somebody else is going to win one of these. The other Excite. Anything that's super insightful, or just, you guys haven't been giving me a lot of good comments lately. Talk to me more, give me more stuff to go on, and I'll give some stuff away, including one of these Lucid giveaways if I get enough good comments. So share the video, comment on the video, like the video, all that good stuff, and let's see how far these go.
Let's watch some disc golf.
No, let's see if this disc is great.
Oh, there you go.
You can't steal
That is
trademarks,
better.
man. There we go. All right, so that's me on a big hyzer instead of Steve this week.
The days of the Steve Heisers are over, I guess.
So on that big hyzer line, even though it's got that -3, it's not flipping up out of that a lot. Like, so it's holding that hyzer line more than I expected. Now I had a really nice helping wind on this day, coming from a little bit left to right, a little bit behind, so the exact wind to push my throws farther. 378 on a big power hyzer is far for me on just straight hyzer. But even though it says it's flippy, it's not flipping until you really get on it. Let's see. We got a smaller hyzer from Steve.
Yeah, I just really knowing that it was that fast, trying to keep it a little flatter for most of these shots, and to get it to stay in the air for that long, that's pretty good for. I definitely felt there was more that I could get out of it, but for the amount of power that I was putting in it, I was like, this is a comfortable range with at least a 60 mount power shot.
Yeah.
That one I definitely was trying to rip a lot harder. See, I have more hyzer and was able to flip it up. Another 20 feet just from being able to get it to flip. That's exactly what I'm looking for when putting it on hyzer. It's got to turn, it's got to hit flat and get some turn before it fades out, and that's almost a straight line.
And that was this blue one. That one's 174 as well, correct?
Yep.
So they're both 174, but that one has a significant amount more dome, which gives it a little bit more stability at the end. So this one is flipping a little more, and that you definitely see that in that shot for sure. It has that flip, but it does come back. So I'm buying the 2 on the fade, because it does have fade at the end for sure. Similar shot, thrown to just, that's kind of my typical release for my max power distance shots. Just a little bit of hyzer, let it flip up and ride, and hello,
And
ladies and
bombed it.
gentlemen. That is a new distance record for This Is Great with Steve and Nate.
Nice job, man.
Previously, it was 433 on a massive grip lock with a G-Star Mystere from Steve. Again, I had a really nice wind, give me some extra push, but 443 is far.
Is that
Again,
your personal distance, probably?
no.
Okay.
I have some strikes that I've measured out to 460.
Ooh.
But we kind of talk about this in the show a lot, is these are, like, we have maybe 25, 30 throws under our belt with these discs, so we're still getting to know them, and the fact that I can put it over 440 with a disc I'm still learning, that thing goes far. So this one's a flat release with the flippier one, and there you see that -3 turn. It's really turning, but it's got that fade back at the end, making that nice shot. 454.
Again. Congratulations.
Broke the record twice in one episode. So that's going to take some doing for us to ever break it now, because 454 is a ways out there for both of us. But that's the shot you want. I mean, you got that turn, faded, that ended pretty much straight. Really solid S-turn on that flight. I'd love to see the drone aerial footage of that one.
There you go.
But this thing glides. It just goes. Loving it for that shot. I wouldn't throw it into a headwind necessarily, but it's got some speed and some really good distance on it. I think we got one more ante line before we get to the forehands. Maybe two. So that's Steve getting it flatter with a little more pop. That might have been a touch bit of a grip lock, but even grip locking it, it still came back.
Yeah, in reality, I wanted to throw it down the middle, but the way I lined up, it ended up shooting just 45 degrees the opposite way. So technically, that was a straight line shot with a nice little fade out of it. So with a certain amount of power on the stable disc, it'll just hold that line for a really long time with a certain amount of power. 385. As you guys know, I haven't been hitting that far in a while, so it's finally nice to get at least back to where I feel comfortable with, oh yeah, that's what I remember of throwing far.
All right, then we got one turnover line here. Coming out of my hand, this is the more stable one, that's the red one. So coming out with just a little bit of ante, holds that ante for most of the flight, and then solidly fades out. Being able to keep, usually my hyzer flips are my farther shots because antes are a little harder to control sometimes, but still breaking 400 with that. Yep. That's a ton of glide. And again, it's got that turn to hold that for a long time, but it's stable enough that it came out and is landing flat. We didn't throw any rollers with it because the grass is starting to get real tall at Aspen, so it would go like 6 feet. But I could see this being a really solid roller disc because it's got the stability to not turn out too soon, but it's got the turn to really lay down nicely for you. Obviously, this is a great backhand disc and goes really far if you can put enough power on it. So that's a nice flat sidearm release, and there you're really getting to see that -3 turn. It does turn if you put some power into it. Sidearms generally have a little more torque, but 342 is pretty close to my max distance sidearm. We need to actually look that up. I don't know what the distance record for sidearm is on the show. We didn't track that, but that is pretty close. I mean, I've thrown some 350, 360 shots with my defenders. This was way easier, flipped up, but still, again, with as much as it was turning, I didn't think it was coming back, but then it did at the end. Again, that's a nice straight line in the end, 342. Can't ask for much more than that. This one I really got on, flipped my wrist a little bit, and still that fade at the end. So 360 is probably close to 359, sorry. Probably close to our max distance. And again, I've got the wind pushing that farther left. So even with that wind pushing, still hyzering out at the end. Not gonna be your like mash on it ante sidearm disc like my defenders are, but if you want those controlled flicks like I do with my strikes, great disc for that.
Now, I do not have the most powerful sidearm, and for me to not completely turn that over, I was like, okay, so it's still very fast. So if you don't get on it enough, it'll turn like you see with that -3 turn, but it's definitely fading out. If I threw, say, a destroyer on that line, it basically would have finished as far left as it has finished right there. So This is, if you have trouble flicking stuff that's super overstable, even though this is flippy, it's still fast enough where you'll be able to get some sort of distance out of it, and it'll be predictable for the most part as well.
Yeah. So that's the Axiom Excite, their new max rim driver. Numbers on that are roughly 14.6, -3.2. We pulled those from a third-party site because MVP doesn't give their disc number, so those can be debatable. Steve, how do you feel about those numbers?
I would agree with the numbers completely. I really like the glide that it had.
It is super gliding.
Even a poor shot, it would just hold that line for a really long time. A lot of low shots were just staying in the air.
And I'd say it is faster than my Shrike.
Yes.
Like I had to put more into it than I have to put into my Shrikes to get similar results.
I thought the 2 was good too.
The 2 fade I agree with.
At the end.
The -3 turn I could go back and forth on. I can maybe give it -2 too. But again, I'm only getting it so fast. I'm not the. While me and Steve have pretty big arms for general disc golf,
casual.
We don't have Macbethian or Lazat arms. So maybe with somebody a little more power is going to get that 3 turn out of it. But those were full power rips for me to get that flip and turn out of it. But that flip is going to give you that extra distance. Again, I'm probably not recommending. This is not a beginner friendly disc. This is not something I'm recommending for anyone who throws under 400 feet. This is going to be something, well, under 350. If you're throwing 350, you can do some things with this and maybe get to 375. But you need to get this with some power to get all of it out of it, all that you can out of it. Anything else you want to say about the Excite before we wrap the review section up? Axiom does make some really pretty discs.
So far, I've really appreciated the product that they've been putting out.
Yeah.
Even the Mayhem and all those other fast discs they've had. I felt like for the amount that I had to put into it, I was getting more out of it than I would the Destroyer or even sometimes the Shrike. I've just had a couple throws where I'm just like, oh wow, that speed sometimes with the tailwind is going to get you that much farther, and even 15 feet feels like a mile some days. So,
and I mean, the Axiom and MVP are kind of one of the smaller companies that people are scared to try because the overmold's weird. I don't notice it at all when I'm throwing.
Nope.
I don't even know it's there. They look super cool. The plastic on the edge, I don't even know what it's officially called, but it's really, really durable. I've not had any problem. Do you hit enough trees with your catalyst yet to know?
I don't throw it that often, but no, it's even if I've hit something, it's almost unnoticeable.
Yeah.
Relative.
The only times I've seen the overmold get torn up is on like sharp rocks or metal where like other discs would have had the same gouge. So it's not any less durable. In fact, it might even be more durable. They're great discs. I probably should throw more of them than I do. Super great. They look sweet. You should check them out. The link to the Excites are posted above, so go get yourself one. And check out all the other MVP Axiom stuff. All right, let's get to some questions and some winners and stuff. So what kind of questions do we got first?
2 people that guessed the same number, and they were the closest. We had 2 people guess 450.
All right.
For the 450 long. So, what do you want to do? You want to do both win, or?
Sure, we've got 2 Excites. Let's give both of them away to the winners.
Want to go to John Bird or Justin Bird? I saw his name, Mr. Bird.
Mr. Bird.
Mr. Bird wins one with guessing.
Not Eagle McMahon, but Mr. Bird.
And Justin Freres, he's also winning.
Cool. Bird's going to get the blue one, and then the red one is going to go to, or either way, and then Justin Freres will get the red one. That works perfectly. All right. What about some comments and some questions that we got going?
Steve's headgear has been very popular.
Popular or just commented on a lot?
John Drew wants to know if you saw a man bun back there?
No, it's not in a bun yet. Not yet. I'm getting close.
Another question early on, I remember, what do they retail for? What are we retailing those neutrons?
So the neutron plastic is $14.99, I believe. Proton is $13.99. And that is at their MAP price, so we can't sell them any cheaper than that. And if you missed our video about the new stuff for disc golf at discstore.com, we redid our shipping rates. So anything that's 1 or 2 discs is $2 to ship, and it ships in a box, which is way cheaper than anywhere else. At a couple of the other sites, you got to pay to upgrade to a box. So $2 for 1 or 2 discs. Those always ship in a box. 3 to 8 is like $4.43. So we try to keep it as cheap as we can for you guys. So check that out. Get all your disc golf stuff from discstore.com, obviously. Any other good questions before we
We kind of had a bot explosion. So there's a few bots on the thing, but there's other questions in here.
We have
We
computer.
actually have a comment, a really nice comment from Josh Wagner. Best 2 guys in the world and best at feet. Steve and I'd like to thank you for what you guys do. I learned a lot, and you two help me with my game. Thanks.
Well, we're going to give him a getaway because I like that comment. Josh Wagner wins a getaway. Write that down. That way we don't forget. Any other questions we want to get to? And I go back through and try to answer as many of them as I can. So if you're not watching live, you can leave us a question and I'll try to answer it later. And we'll be back next week with, let's say the Vulture. Let's do the Vulture next week. That's a fun little disc. We just got like 6 new versions of the Vulture in the Tour Series Glow. We definitely need to do a new release video this week because we have tons of new stuff that we've listed in the last couple weeks and a ton more coming. So check out all that stuff out. Check out the new release tab. There's tons of cool stuff in there. Check it out. We'll see you guys next week.
See y'all.